Have you ever set your meta budget, you hit publish, and then you watch your campaigns barely spend or spend all of your budget without producing real results? If you've been there, you know the frustration. And if you've read the playbook advice online, you've probably been told to tweak your bids, increase your budgets, let it learn is my favorite. But here's the truth. Meta isn't broken. It is literally making calculated decisions on whether your campaign or ads are worth delivering to your target audience at the price you are willing to pay. And over the last 8 years, I've spent over $30 million across 150 different businesses, and I've learned that scaling comes down to feeding the algorithm the right data, structuring your campaigns for incrementality, and letting the system do its job without sabotaging it. So today I'm going to take you inside an ad account to break down why Meta refuses to spend your budget, how to structure for net new customer acquisition, not just ROAS, which is a vanity metric that I don't like, the exact bidding and budget strategies I am now using right now to scale brands in 2025. So your question is, why does Meta stop spending your budget? When a campaign or ad doesn't spend, it is rarely a technical glitch. It's usually a signal that something about either your setup or your creative is telling Meta this ad is not worth competing in the auction. So here's what I check first. This is in chronological order. Your auction win rate. So Meta runs an auction for every single impression on the platform. If your estimated action rate, which is how likely the user is to take your desired action, make a purchase, is too low, you will lose to your competitors even if your budget is higher. Google's actually started doing this in Google Ads, where historically you could just raise the bid and get the first placement. Google's algorithm now optimizes in a very similar way. So the fix is you need better creative or different audiences going into your pool. If you improve your click-through rate or your thumb stop ratio, which lately seems to be the catalyst on higher spend, because Meta believes if someone stops, they're willing to potentially take an action. Change your hooks, your creative format, and above the fold messaging, meaning don't make someone click the little ad to read more. This will be the fastest lever in creative testing, not budget changes. Second one is your bid cap or cost cap is just too tight. So if you're running cost cap bidding, which we run a ton of and they're extremely successful, let's dive into one of those right now. This is a bid cap, this is a bid cap, this is a bid cap. What these allow for is over the last 30 days, we have some scale coming in. Each of these is set to a different bid. So this is a $49, $43, $47, $41. And you can see the 41 barely spending any money. The 49 also not really spending, but driving overall account efficiency growth at a $17 cost per purchase. $43 bid is coming in, getting okay. And you can see the 47, so in the middle, not 49, not 43, we're at 47, delivering phenomenal results at a $10 cost per purchase with 23 purchases over the last 30 days. Moving down, this is a $58 bid, driving the highest value at a $16. So just because you have the bid set doesn't mean that's what you're going to spend, but that's telling Meta, hey, this is what I'm willing to acquire purchase for, and if it will show the ad to the correct people to more than likely accomplish that goal. And let's dive deeper into that. If you are running your cost caps too low, so let's say you have a cost cap or bid cap at $35 when your real break-even CPA is $50. You are telling Meta, do not ever show this ad unless you are sure you can get me conversions for $35. Meta in that scenario, just like what I just showed you, is not going to spend any money. Yeah, you might get like 17 cents in spend, or in this case, $17. And we hit the gold mine that one purchase came through. You want to start your campaigns with a highest volume bidding to find your baseline CPA. And I truly believe this is where most of you get it wrong. You put one cost control or one bid cap in place and you're like, this didn't work. You need to know historically in your account what is your baseline CPA, and then you can work to lower it slowly and gradually. Because once you have that conversion data, you can set your cost cap to 10 to 15% above that CPA to allow room in the auction. Number 3 is going to be campaign fragmentation. The biggest killer of delivery is literally splitting your budget across too many campaigns or ad sets. We just did an audit on a company spending $30,000 a month. Not a big budget. They had 29 campaigns. Some performance was good, others were bad. Overall, the ads were only seeing on average about $100 of spend. And then the other ones were taking too much spend, not getting purchases at the CPA target, and the efficiency was terrible. So if you have 12 ad sets, each with $50 a day, you're not giving any one ad set enough budget to exit the learning phase. So what happens? Meta slows it down and results tank. The key is to consolidate everything into 1 to 3 strong ad sets live per campaign. For ASCs, let the machine learning handle who is getting it shown and focus on feeding better creatives. Number 4 is audience saturation, guys. If you're still trying to run these very niche audiences, 100,000 people, 500,000 people, even 1 million, your frequency is going to skyrocket. The algorithm will throttle delivery to avoid showing the same ad to the same person 10 times in 2 days. We have been finding most success happening in that 5 million person size audience minimum. So make sure to continue to implement creative refreshes. Number 5, conversion tracking signals. The key is that Meta learns from events. They can begin to project out and hypothesize when events will take place for which ads. So if you're optimizing for purchases, but you're only getting 1, maybe 2 a day, you are never going to exit the learning phase, even if the learning phase is now shorter with less conversions. It is not going to work. The algorithm will never learn. It needs to build confidence. The bottom line is these days, Meta is not broken. Meta is not stubborn. It's calculating the risk versus reward for its users. If you can raise your auction win rate, give it better data, and loosen up your manual constraints, delivery problems will almost always fix themselves. So, with that, let's talk about scaling without blowing your cost per acquisition, because highest volume does not work at scale. My opinion, fight me for it. Meta's AI is smarter, but it is also less forgiving if you push it the wrong way. So, like I said, start with highest volume. It gives you and Meta the maximum freedom to gather data without having some type of cost control in place. If you start with cost caps or bid caps before you have enough data firing into your events, it will force your ads into a smaller auction pool and scaling becomes almost impossible. We've been through it. It's the worst. So run highest volume till you get 50, 100 conversions at a stable CPA. That means weeks of stability. Then evaluate if you need to move to a cost control or cost cap for more control. Cost caps is where, like I just showed you with bid caps, this is where the real acquisition comes, because these protect your profitability while still allowing volume through the account. For example, like if your break-even CPA is $50 and you've been getting 45 at highest volume, set your cost cap to $50, $55. This tells Meta, keep scaling as long as you can get me results under this price. Now, when it comes to scaling, use the post ID. And there's a Chrome extension, I'll leave it down below, that essentially you can go into Ads Manager, click on it, it will show the post ID, and then when you're in the account, this is all you have to do. Use existing post, and then that post is selected right there when you input the post ID. The reason for that is because that ad, I believe, and I think it's been validated, has all of the purchase data. When you are starting net new, you are literally starting net new. So if you can use post IDs, you will be ahead of the scale race faster. Now, As you're scaling, you might need budget pullbacks. Because if performance starts to tank due to an update, anything, offer fatigue, I don't like turning off campaigns. I do turn off ad sets, I do turn off ads. Instead, I want to start cutting budgets. So instead of increasing budgets 20% every couple of days or every day, I want to start dropping budgets to see if I can get that stability back. What we'll do is we'll start swapping in fresh creative and we will gradually ramp ad spend back up. What I find is that when we scale budgets, efficiency drops, we pull back slightly, efficiency goes back up, and overall it's very volatile week to week, but what happens is the trend line continues growing. And we have doubled budgets at times, and that's worked. We've doubled budgets and it has not worked. It all depends on what your account does. So all of this is really important because it keeps the data intact while resetting performance. So the shift is bids and budgets are no longer about spending more to make more. It's about balancing the algorithm with your profitability. If you take the freedom away from Meta, you will never scale. But if you give Meta all the freedom, it will burn your cash. The sweet spot is all about this give and take with ruthless creative. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe, thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.